if Azuma will be for coal or steel. No idea. Absolutely no idea. The server's still down? I have no idea, but I mean, I might as well do the replay analysis now, since apparently the server's decided absolutely shit the bed. Right. What do you have? Baltimore in tier 10 matchmaking. That's always going to be a rough experience. Any tier 8 that gets up tiered is going to have a hard time. There are very few exceptions, example Asashi, Kutuzov, so forth. Also, adding something like a midway to the mix. Sure, you have AA. No, you're not going to be doing too much if the midway has any idea what if he has any idea what he's doing, you're not going to get much done. So solo Baltimore gameplay. Your strength, of course, the strength of the Baltimore is exceptionally good concealment. If you got concealment expert, you do. That's good. So you're running the correct build, the concealment build. The other strength is radar, which is 9 kilometers with your 9.7 km stealth, which means very useful radar, and heavy American AP, which of course can even punish tier 10 cruisers. So let's see. This midway matchup is of course going to be very, very heavily deciding on the matchup. Is the Shimakaze going to push towards A? Now, normally, if you were a Des Moines or whatever, you can push nose into this position and then lob shells and you can trade fairly well. The issue is, though, that ships like Des Moines have access to heal. And they can kind of outtrade anyone who tries to push them. Baltimore, trying to do the very same thing. Well, first of all, any damage you take is permanent, and you don't really have the best of DPM because of your long reload. In fact, the way what you're doing right now, leading the charge up this flank, questionable. Very, very risky. Very, very risky. If you play very safe back here and you wait for your Shimakaze to go by, maybe. At this point, I would slow down, let the Shima go first. A very common, like, #1 mistake cruiser players make is they are over-eager. They try to rush into the action too fast, and then they die. There are very few ships that you can come around this corner and face 1 versus 1 and actually come out as the winner. And even worse, if they have support pushing wide, you got some serious issues. See, the battleships don't always sail behind you like this. Sometimes they go straight wide like this. We see an NC going there. We see, okay, there's a Montana there. That's terrifying. You can give some AA support, but that also means being plane detected. There's a smoke in front of you. The smoke is spreading this direction. You saw the smoke puff here. You could probably already radar. You should have your... Can we enable radar range? No, we cannot. That would be nice to have, but I'm pretty sure that's within your radar range. So you could have counter radared at this point to support your team. And what the DD was that was there got into the cap. And as I mentioned, this position that you're in is so very, very risky because, well, you've already lost health. You can't get it back. That's 2, 3... Those are single launch torpedoes. What do they have that can single launch? The lightning. So we know there's a lightning in here. We also know that you radared. We got Salem, Baltimore over there. So there's a Seattle in the smoke somewhere. There's the Seattle and there's the lightning. We could know that without radar. An earlier radar would probably have been useful because it was pretty obvious that the smoke was expanding your way. So you could have punished them sooner. And if you would have found out that the Seattle was there, you might have even gotten some damage in before you're going to have to disengage. Because this is very much a temporary push that you're executing here. You're going to have to bail. You cannot stay here. Oh, this is risky. Are the battleships going to delete you? Are they going to lob shells? There's a Montana, Richelieu. Where's the AP? Where's the AP? It looks like they weren't paying attention or they were reloading, which is fortunate. Still though, you need to disengage, you need to start kiting away. Farming the Seattle while kiting away isn't a bad idea. The Shima decides to push into the Minotaur, which is of course suicide. He's gonna die very, very soon. He has no escape. You need to get the hell out of here though. At this point, what you want to pay attention to is this here. That's incoming AP. You need to turn. You are turning. Are you doing it in time? Oh, never mind. He deleted the Shimakaze. So the Montana was actually smart enough to focus the DD. But here comes the Richelieu. The advantage, of course, of the Baltimore is that you can bounce a bit of AP, but if the Montana does decide to shoot you, you're gonna have to bail. Careful, you need to be... What are you staring at? You need to be focused on You need to focus on what there's Montana AP coming again. It's coming for you. No, you cannot turn out. You're being greedy. You're tunnel visioning. You don't see the incoming AP. This is so goddamn risky. Holy sh... You are so fortunate. Map awareness. #1 thing for cruisers. Especially in a situation like this, you don't stare at the target you're shooting at. The only time when you look at this target is briefly to line up your shots. The rest of the time what you're looking at is these battleships here. Because you should have died there. You turned out full broadside in front of a Montana. That was already extremely borderline. You're disengaging now, which I like. You should stop shooting. You don't need to give this much broadside. You're gonna eat a lot more Minotaur AP for no reason. I guess finally afraid of the Montana AP. That is good. Stop shooting, disengage. This is good. At this point, identify the strengths and weaknesses on the map. The strength is your team has secured this cap. Your team has an advantage on this side of the cap. Your team is pushing for B. Weaknesses, this flank, the enemy has a massive advantage. They have a DD capping, they have Seattle Minotaur lobbing shells over islands, and they got 3 battleships here. You cannot accomplish anything on this flank. You need to get the hell out. Also, turning in front of a Donskoy that's spotted, that's pretty brutal. You don't do that. Please never do that. If the Donskoy is spotted, it means he's being fired upon. Please do not turn in front of someone trying to disengage. That was a really scummy move. If you really had to go past him, you could have slowed down and let the Donskoy go past you. The Donskoy is already much faster than you are as a cruiser, and turning in front of someone who's disengaging is the worst shit you can do. The ship that's under focus always has the right of passage. That's basic sailing 101. The ship that's being fired upon, that's the guy you give passage. You move out of the way, you give him room. Turning in front of him when he's trying to disengage from a battleship Minotaur crossfire, that is the opposite of that. So please do not do that in the future. Kind of risky, because if the Minotaur can lob shells over on that guy, he can also lob shells over on you. Is he going to do it? You might be able to perhaps secure the kill. A risk, maybe not that bad of a risk because the battleships are so far back. You might be able to secure the kill. Looks like he's gonna get away from it. Still though, I want you to move towards B. This is the weak enemy flank, this is the strong enemy flank. Especially when you're the bottom tier, you don't want to be trying to stop the strong flank from pushing. You want to move into the weaker part. You want to get the hell out of there. Let's see. NC, they're all pushing. All those battleships are pushing here. There's almost no threats here. Just getting the hell out of here. Scharnhorst, stylishly grounding. Once again, he's the one who's spotted. He's the one who's focused fired. You can keep going full speed. Gonna accelerate out of the way. This is fine. You could radar the Minotaur at this point, but no one has any shells. Keep in mind that yes, you can radar the Minotaur. Can anyone actually shoot him? No, not really. Waste of time to radar him right now. The lightning right in front of you. Now that is a tempting target. Call target on him if you've noticed him. You notice him now. Call target for your team. It's always worth calling target. If you have better map awareness than your teammates, the only thing that's benefiting from it if you don't call target is yourself. If you ping the target, if you call the target, then everyone on your team is benefiting from your map awareness. Keep that in mind. Every time you ping, you're basically letting your team know, hey, there's something here. And they are benefiting from the fact that you look at the minimap and you pay attention to your surroundings a lot more than anyone else. So, always ping DDs when you can see them. Like, one of these guys might have had shots on him, but they didn't see him because they were too tunnel vision on something else. Pushing into the cap at this point is of course highly risky because we don't know what the Minotaur has done, and if the lightning starts disengaging, there's potential for crossfires. You might be able to ambush the Minotaur though. What I would do is I would park nose this way, with my guns pointed towards the entrance. You're turning to commit, which I don't like. The reason I don't like it because we've seen a Salem coming this way. We know there's a lot of incoming fire from here, you're going to be giving them broadside, and there's a risk of being radared. Because the Seattle entered the cap. The Minotaur appears to... Now you can no longer disengage because you have committed. You are stuck between the enemy and the island. This is the worst case scenario. Even the carrier is adding into the mix at this point. I do not like going on this left side. I often mention, always leave yourself an escape plan, leave yourself a route to get the hell out of the situation. Leave yourself a way to disengage. You should pop defensive AA, the planes are right on top of you. No defensive. Hello? He's dropping your teammate. Oh, your tunnel vision. No, 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 this is not good. This guy is suffering because you're not popping your consumable. This... Oh, you're the one being dropped and you're not popping it. Well, that was the latest defensive AA in history. Okay. Many fundamental basic cruiser mistakes in this game. Number one, of course, map awareness. Plan ahead, plan for the future, plan what might change. Committing, turning in there when you should have turned out. Very questionable, extremely risky. Leave yourself an escape plan. The issue with both those positions that you put yourself in, the issue with the early position was you had no escape plan. The issue later on was, once again, you had no escape plan. And that's very basic new cruiser player mistakes. Like they plan, I'm gonna push that cap, I'm gonna raid that ship, and then when someone asks them, well, how are you gonna get out of that position? They go like, well, I'll kill them and then I'll get out. But in reality, that rarely happens. So map awareness and positioning, and honestly just safer play, especially when you're tier 8 against tier 10. Like, you are already the underdog. No need to make it harder for yourself by being the guy in the front to tank for everyone. So things to keep in mind. Right, let's see what links are in chat. People are posting links. Let's see. Still learning DD, please help. Ilya, I fixed my link earlier. Do you want them to post again? Yeah, I mean, whenever I'm done with one, you can post them. I tend to click them all around. Okay, let's see. Holding point solo. What is this ship? That's Hinden, I guess. Yeah, Hindenburg game. We got a black game. We got a Leon game. Let's do a battleship game. Let's see what happened in this one. You got 3 kills, but the damage is a bit questionable. Let's check a battleship game. I'll do a destroyer game after this one. I like to kind of mix it up. Go through all the different classes. Krempy, thank you for the 2 months, my dude. Appreciate it.
I am potato.
You are indeed potato. You are 2 months potato. You have any replay of the Moskva? I mean, you can link Moskva replays. It's not my replays, it's my subs that are linking replays that I'm commenting on. How can I create such links? Well, in order to post them in chat, you have to be a sub. And there's a replay command in chat you can use. Type !replay and it should link. Right, let's see. Leon. Actually, wait, Scharnhorst? It said Leon, but this is a Scharnhorst. What the hell kind of... What? Oh, no, never mind. This was... Oh, you were killed by a Leon. My bad. It was Scharnhorst. But that's fine. Scharnhorst is also interesting. It's a battleship anyway. Might be. Top tiered. Strengths of the Scharnhorst is, of course, incredible tankiness, fast turret traverse, fast reload. Weaknesses is you can't really overmatch anything, and that becomes even harsher when you're up tiered like this. Usually, the more you're up tiered, the more you want to favor HE usage over AP usage, because, well, HE doesn't really care. And Flamu 1 CC code giveaway. What? Why are you pinging me for that? I'm just gonna time you out. What the hell? What, are you begging for a CC code? And you ping me for that? Right. The Fletcher is scouting, so obviously you want to support the Fletcher. And you got a York and a Missouri, which is you got radar support for the destroyer as well. Do they have a carrier? They have a ranger. With Scharnhorst AA, ranger isn't really that big of an issue, so you don't need to care about it too much. And Sean Bart... Well, the majority of your team is going the other flank, so you want to keep in mind that you're only 4 on this side. And one of the issues with this map is that, well, it's an issue with every map, of course, but there tends to be a lot of lemming trains. People are afraid of going B, so you tend to get lemming trains one side or the other. Carriers coming in, usually a good idea to pop the fighter plane in preparation, because it takes some time to activate. Yes, you can use it for spotting, but if you're using the fighter plane, you should also use it as personal defense. And since he's smoking up, well, a bit too late now. The other advantage, of course, of the fighter plane is that it gives you vision on the other side of the smoke, because this smoke just cut off all vision. There we go, the fighter plane gets activated. A bit late, but better late than never. DD, I recommend expert loader on Scharnhorst, of course, because, well, you end up shooting HE quite a bit, and the fast reload makes you especially good against blapping DDs. I would have still switched to HE here. I'm not sure why you're not switching, because the DD was spotted and he's going to be spotted again. Now you have AP loaded, and the issue is, of course, you can't get full penetration damage. And if you can't... Okay. You have torpedoes. No, you can't reach him with the torpedoes, but what you can do with the torpedoes is estimate his speed. Right now, you could switch to torps. He's actually not going that fast. You're overleading. His engine is broken. He repaired it. Now he's going that fast. But remember that you can often switch to torps. To get an idea of where the DD is going. Also, you should still have HE loaded. That volley right there could have maybe even killed him. It would have done more than double that damage if you had HE loaded. So, ammunition selection, especially in the Scharnhorst, very important. And too much AP, especially since the only viable target is the destroyer. Note that your team is pushing very aggressively, so there's no reason for you to play quite so safe. As long as you got people pushing this aggressively in front of you, you can happily push up behind them. Remember that the Scharnhorst, the DD is spotted, you should turn your guns and blap him. DD, map awareness, the destroyer is spotted right in front of you. Luckily your team finishes him off, that is good. But in general, more attention being paid to the minimap. Killing a Fletcher is very important, especially when the enemy has 3 DDs, and getting rid of the DD that's scouting on this flank will help you a lot. So, map awareness and ammunition selection is probably things to focus on. York, still pushing aggressive. Aiva is giving you full broadside. You can sit at all the Aiva. I know you want that York, but you should be shooting the Aiva. The thing with the Scharnhorst is that it reloads very quickly, so you kind of want to be shooting all the time. He's going to have time to turn out, or turn in, or he can go in a straight line if he's Captain Potato. He pretty much goes in a straight line because he's Captain Potato. Still though, you want to focus fire. If you see a juicy target like that, just take the shot. You want to be throwing out shells all the time, because Scharnhorst doesn't really have that deletion capacity. Scharnhorst is not the kind of battleship that you get those devastating strikes early on in the match, because Scharnhorst has kind of questionable dispersion and of course rather small caliber shells. So you make up for that lack by having a really fast reload. But if you hold your shots a lot, well, you're kind of throwing away the one advantage you have. So just throw out shots all the time. Scharnhorst is all about shooting. That's why you have fast turret traverse as well, because you can constantly switch targets back and forth. It doesn't matter if you turned your guns all the way to the left, you can turn them all the way to the right very, very quickly. That's why this was considered one of the first so-called battle cruisers in the game, even though it is more of a battleship than anything else. Is that no fire prevention? That is questionable. That is quite questionable. You can run some AA heavy builds, or it might be a new captain, that's also a possibility, but in general no fire prevention on a Scharnhorst is debatable, because the Scharnhorst is extremely resilient to both AP and HE damage, but like all battleships, it burns very well. So skipping fire prevention is not something I recommend, because, well, you're taking a lot of damage. I'm surprised you're actually holding your damage con right now. You do have the premium damage con, so I don't really see the reason for holding it. You should be using your heal as well. You're also holding that for no reason at this point, because you don't know if the carrier goes in for a strike for you next. You used the damage con now, but that was a lot of health you lost. I'd say that was good 15k health you just lost to those double fires. And considering the only thing really capable of setting fires on you right now is the York, questionable. I think you should have just damage con the second you got a double fire. Atlanta just got a double strike, which is of course interesting. That means this flank is now collapsing. You could probably, you know, just rush these two as well. I mean, it's a Gneisenau and a York. You got the Leningrad turning around to support. At this point, I would honestly ask your Missouri, hey, wanna go kill these guys? And you could turn around and kill them, because you're a Scharnhorst, which is a very strong tier 7, and he's a Missouri, which is a very strong tier 9, and you're being chased away by a Gneisenau and a York. Neither ship which is particularly strong at its tier, not to mention lower tier than you guys. And you even have a Leningrad supporting you. So this kind of stuff, if I saw my flank doing this, I'd be pinging them and asking, really? Are you really running away from that? Are you really fleeing from that? Even the Iowa has disengaged. He's going this to the middle. So it's literally just Gneisenau and York. More confidence maybe in your play. More balls in your play. Even your carrier is going in. This is especially when you should be having your guns aimed and waiting, because carrier torpedo drops often forces ships to turn in. When a carrier drops their torps, people turn in to angle to evade the torps, and when they do, they are usually occupied with the torpedoes and you can get some really nasty shots in. You want to focus fire that fighter squad that was right next to you. Once again, minimap awareness. Plane have fled away, not much to do anymore. Once again, your Missouri is turning around, good, now you should turn around and rush them as well. Your Missouri is committing for this line, so at this point you should be committing for this line, you should be going deeper this way. You have the turret traverse to easily be able to swing your guns around, and if you do go this way, you create a crossfire with your Missouri. Missouri crossfires from here, you crossfire from here, you box in this sea flank and you catch them off guard basically. Or you force them into horrible situation. Now what you're doing is basically you're just sailing behind your Missouri. You're just following your Missouri around and you're not really getting much damage in on anything. More balls, more balls. I mean, I'm not sure what you're so afraid of right now from the enemy team. You're a Scharnhorst. You are very hard to citadel. If someone tries to brawl you, you can torpedo them. You reload quickly. Like, you have a lot of great strengths in this ship and you're being bullied by a York and a Gneisenau. So, questionable. At this point, I'd just pop the heal and go ham. I'd pop the heal and just push them. Your Sean Bart is occupying the Iowa, so it's literally just these two guys here. Too safe. Too safe of a play. More balls. If the guy playing the cruiser earlier was playing too aggressive, then you're playing too passive in this battleship. We are talking half your team is dead and you're struggling to break 300,000 potential, and this is on a flank that you could have won. So more aggression in this and more confidence in your ship. Scharnhorst is amazing. It's a fantastic ship. And switch the torps to get an idea of how fast your targets are going. Switch the HEs. Okay, well you can shoot the AP, but when they go full angling like this, it is a York though, but still. At this point, I'd turn my guns on the Atlanta. There's an Atlanta on the far right. Okay, you noticed him. It auto-locked on him, but you're not shooting him. Why not? Okay, that's interesting. Full broadside cruisers like that? Absolutely go for it. Gneisenau. That's a bit... You're aiming way high. What? That was way too high. You want to pen his broadside. Yeah, 2 overpens because the aim was a bit high. You want to, in general, when you shoot German battleships, you want to aim right here. You don't need to go for the waterline. Normally, when you shoot broadside battleships, you want to go for the waterline. But on German ones, you can aim slightly higher and just get those juicy, massive 20k pen damage hits instead of trying to go for that juicy citadel, because you just the odds of getting the citadel is so low that it's much better to just go for that always consistent heavy damage. But yeah, more aggression. Once again, you're still down on points, but you still... This is such an easy flank. Push in. It's a Gneisenau now. 9.4k health. And there's a York. Like, what is keeping you away from this objective right now? I would say much too passive gameplay. Too afraid. Too afraid. I can't for the life of me see what's keeping you away from this objective. Switch the torps. Is the York going full speed? Is he slowing down? Is he accelerating? If you switch the torps, you would have an idea. Now you're kind of just shooting blind, hoping for the best. Got a decent volley, but maybe could have been better if you had more information. And now with the power of 4 ships, you're finally getting rid of these 2 tier 7 ships that have been holding the sea cap for their team for this long. That is kind of sad. More aggression. Flamu playing on private server? No, it's replay analysis. Use your heal. You're about to get into a big fight. There's 8 minutes left. You are being shot at. Use your heal. You can damage con. You're in safety. You can pop your damage con. Nice, you got your heal off. At this point, there's nothing really preventing you. Now you should absolutely damage con. Double fire again. There we go. Leningrad will cap the objective. You don't even need to push if you're afraid of those Atlanta torps. You can lob shells over this island. You don't even need to get spotted. Camp this objective. You got a 2-to-1 camp advantage. Slow down. Wait for the information. The Atlanta might be rushing. The Atlanta is rushing. You're going face first into torps with no damage con. He's on the other side. He's dropping torps. You know for a fact that he'll be dropping. He just dropped his right side torps. Now he's gonna turn around and try to drop his left side torps as well. Preemptively torpedo him. Switch to your torps to get an idea of what he's doing. He is torping. Pop your fighter plane for brief information. It might spot the torpedoes. This is so very risky. There's the torpedoes. Some torpedoes, at least. Now you're giving full broadside. You want to reverse. You want to reverse at this point. You're giving such perfect broadside right here. You can push in if you go nose in. But you're giving too much broadside to them for no real reason. He's going full speed. Focus fire is... The planes, are they empty? Or are they coming to drop you right now? It looks like they're empty. Hope they're empty. Atlanta for some reason wants to go past full broadside. That's very kind of him. He probably torpedoed though. You know this, right? But he was 5 kilometers away, so it's unlikely you will eat them if you just stop reversing. Questionable Atlanta play. You have the advantage now because of the objective, although this objective should have been held a lot longer. Now you got some options. You know, if you go down exact the same way as your two other battleships are, well, you're not creating any crossfire once again. There is no crossfire here. You got a Missouri right here, you got a Gneisenau right here. If you go and join them, well, the enemy team only needs to angle against one target, which is you. Well, we already see one angle target. That's Iowa. And we know there's a Mars who wants to rush you. Map awareness, switch to HE. You have switched to HE now? Good. At this point, you can turn in and start rushing the Iowa. Go nose in towards the Iowa, and at the same time you're turning away from the Mars. Because what you're doing right now is giving flat broadside, a free kill, and you're basically being the victim. Instead of being the victim in this position, if you would have turned nose in towards the Iowa, you were disengaging from the threat, and you were threatening to YOLO the Iowa with torpedoes. So once again, more aggression, more balls! You're a brawling battleship, you have torpedoes, you're a goddamn monster. Use it! Thank you, Isturiel, and for the sub, and Aristoteles for the 5, and Danny Todica for gifting a sub to CV Rework, and No More Angel for the 20 months. Once again, that Mars is grounded up north. You still have the advantage though, so I mean, I guess you don't want to push, but there are plenty of options where you could have just basically had a bit more balls. A bit more balls. There we go. Looks like finally some aggression. You can't be citadeled. So you could easily... Oh, there's his torps. That was all his torps. That was both sets of torps. Now you should go ham. Now it's full speed ham. Left click, the Yugomo, YOLO rush, the Iowa with torpedoes. Too early. Way too early. Once again, you don't need to give this much broadside, hello? You can start turning towards Iowa. Your guns will easily keep up. What are you doing? Turn towards the Iowa. There we go. Switch to AP. He's giving broadside. Nice. There we go. Once again, you could be turning much more. No, you have torps on the other side. Why are you using these? You're using the side of torpedoes that forces you to expose broadsides to both Oh, no. Okay, in this situation, you could have turned in, angled against both, and then used your right side torpedoes. You literally use the side that forces you to give broadside to both battleships. So... map awareness, a lot more map awareness, more confidence in your own ship, and most importantly of all, you got tankiness in the Scharnhorst. You got that nose in armor. Use it. Use that nose in armor to tank more. I think he wanted to use both sides. The guy had 14k health, the Iowa had 14k health. If he was more likely to kill him with his guns if he went nose in than he was to kill him with his torpedoes. Because he had more than enough firepower to get it. Right. Let's move on to the next. So, honestly, summary of that game, more confidence in the Scharnhorst ability, and just more self-confidence, just more aggression, I would say. Map awareness, of course, as well. But yeah, a Missouri and a Scharnhorst being pushed away from a cap by a York and Gneisenau is extremely questionable. Right, let's see. What do we have? We did a cruiser, we did a battleship, now we got a Shiratsuyu 50. Okay, if a guy is willing to post a Shiratsuyu game where he has 15,000 damage, I can respect that. Let's check this one out. Come on, Flamu, let's hear you speak the same as you talk to your random teammates. Why would I speak the same as I talk to my random teammates? My random teammates are almost never attempting to improve. The players that send me replays are actively trying to improve. There's a pretty significant difference. I have nothing but respect for the player who actively sees, yes, I did something wrong, let's try to figure out what I did wrong and how I can improve, compared to the potato who says, no, fuck you, mother, and then they rush in and die. Like, there's a pretty big difference there, buddy. Alright, let's see, where are we at? Shiratsuyu. Shiratsuyu. Oh, this was the game that we played earlier. Was this our team that completely shat the bed? This was our team that completely shat the bed. Okay, let's see. What happens this match? I want to see. Shiratsuyu. First of all, whoa. What is this? Stock consumables? Buff bill, please. Thank you for the 2 months. Yeah, look, I'm not asking you to spend all your money on all the best consumables, but at least run the damage con. The difference between a 60-second damage con and a 40-second damage con can easily be life-saving. So absolutely, do not ever run stock consumables. I'm not asking all of them. Like speed boost, running the premium one, probably not that big of a deal. But smoke and damage con, they start being pretty significant, mostly because the cooldown decrease is so important. The additional bonus, of course, the premium smoke consumable is that you get one additional. He said he forgot to change. Yeah, well, whatever. I'm still mentioning why I consider it a big deal, because there's people who still run stock consumables, so it's a pretty significant change. Matchmaking wise though, only 2 radars. That's not too bad. Tier 7, you don't tend to run into as many radars though. The higher tier you get, the worse it obviously becomes. So at this point you can see that a Mayoko in a division. So you know that the Jervis is here, and you know there's probably a Nelson hiding somewhere there supporting as well. So you know initially already that there's going to be incoming fire if you pick a fight, and you know that there's probably a DD there. If we look at the cap, you see the... oh, there we go. There's the Jervis we knew was there just because of the division. You don't really want to pick a fight at this range. You're unlikely to hit. Once again, I mean, I guess you can do chip damage. But I want to ask, would it perhaps not been better to just go closer and use your spotting advantage to instead help your smoked up Jervis? Because, well, now by turning away especially, well, you're kind of abandoning this Jervis. You took one shot and now you're running away, and this Jervis, who's in an awkward position, well, he's requesting support, but he's pretty much dead. He's a goner. Preemptive torps on the Jervis. Traverse very slowly catching up. That enemy Jervis is very much being chipped to death from incoming fire from everywhere. Is he gonna go down? Yeah, he's gonna burn to death. Still have another set of torps. You know the DD will be trying to cap. Good. That's I have nothing against this play. The Cleveland was spotted down here. The Missouri was spotted here. So that's 2 radars accounted for. We still don't know where the Buffalo is. He's still missing. Your team is playing very passive on this flank. Keep it in mind. Also, keep in mind that this is your team's weaker flank now. The enemy has 6 ships here. They only have 4 here. And whereas your team has 6 ships on the other side, well, at this point you got 5. So, and the fact that there's 2 DDs here. So in general, this is probably the weaker flank that you're gonna struggle to get anything done on. Whereas the other flank probably has a better chance of success. Also, the other flank, the Buffalo is spotted on the other flank. So now you know where all the radars are. There's only one radar you need to care about, and that is the Cleveland radar. RPF. When you're RPF like this and you're pushing into a cap, it's not a bad idea. Well, once again, I would say pop your speed boost. But considering you only have 2, maybe you have to be more conservative with it since you have stock consumables. I would probably pop the speed boost to try to get to the cap faster and also be able to disengage faster when it happens. Although, I assume if you do get spotted, you will pop the speed boost to get out there faster. There's the Jervis. That's good spotting. He does secure the cap though. He's accelerating. You could take a shot at him. No one has any real shots at you right now. You could easily take a pot shot. I would have preferred you took the pot shots instantly. Because you might have... Thing there is, if you had taken the shot instantly, you might have broken his engine. You might have gotten a fire. Things that would have slowed him down. And even better, he would probably have opened fire on you as well, which would have greatly increased his spotting duration. And the Mayoka and Nelson are here, and these guys are behind the island, so there was really no one that could shoot you. Whereas on the other hand, you had a ton of support on this flank. So there was an opportunity to punish that Jervis, because that Jervis was sitting still, which is a big mistake. He was sitting still, just basically standing there spotting. He's coming back now. You're reversing to get spotted. Shoot. You want him to shoot back. Now you can smoke. If you want to. You don't really need to, honestly. He's committing pretty hard. And once again, he doesn't have any support, as I mentioned earlier. I don't think you actually needed to smoke there, because he didn't have any support. That was a bad play from the enemy Jervis, because he was pushing in aggressive in a situation where he has almost no support, and you have a massive amount of support from your entire team. So, over-aggression for no real need, especially since they already have the capture control. Shoot. Absolutely. At this point you might even slow down a bit just to keep him spotted for longer, because I think if you go behind the island they will lose vision of him. Oh, never mind, there is the Cleveland pushing in. The Cleveland is suiciding, so that's fine. That is questionable thing. This is a common mistake that players often do though. And this is, you see that there's a 3-to-1 cap advantage. So the only thing the red team really needs to do at this point is hold. But instead they're pushing. They're pushing, they're pushing, they're pushing, and they're being picked off, they're being picked off, they're being picked off. Why is this Jervis so gung-ho on this? This is so risky. Don't be afraid to switch your torps to get an idea of what the ship is doing, like what speed he's moving at. A 6,000 health Jervis. I'm looking at this now and I'm not very impressed right now. This is not what you do when you got 6,000 health on a winning flank. You can shoot, you can take a shot at that Shiratsuyu. Easily could have taken some shots at that Shiratsuyu. This was actually quite a sizable throw I'm watching now. I wonder what happened on this flank for them to collapse this hard. This Cleveland is still pushing, of course, which puts him into this nice juicy crossfire. You see shells coming from it. I don't know. That guy keeps pushing. Why is he pushing in? So aggressive against what he knows is a DD that outspots him. Just start kiting away and shooting backwards. Like these are not favorable trades. At this point, this is going very well from your perspective, because you're doing massive damage to a DD that outguns you, because he keeps taking these highly unfavorable trades. He has no one supporting and shooting him, whereas, I mean, you have a damn St. Louis, a tier 9 cruiser right behind you, and they're just throwing shells in there. And the Shiratsuyu is doing the same mistake. This over-aggression keeps picking these unfavorable fights. If you can get into this position where the enemy team pushes and you can fight DD versus DD, except one side has team support, obviously you have a significant advantage. I know who it is, I don't care who it is, it's still bad play. Having a special name doesn't mean that you can't do bad play. I constantly do. Every single day I play this game I do bad plays. Like having a client tag or a name doesn't mean that you're immune to bad plays. You got 2-2 caps, but this flank, it's 4 versus 5. Kronstadt is probably a bit overextended. I'm not sure how their health pools are. But because the entire team is like this, both the DDs have been spotted here, and more importantly, you know that the Jervis is very low health at this point. You can probably 1 versus 1 that ship and easily win, which is of course a huge issue, because normally gunboat versus torpedo boat is balanced in the sense that torpedo boat outspots gunboat, but gunboat can beat them in an extended fight. So in that sense, getting these small fights every now and then is not a bad move at all. So even though your damage is unimpressive, you haven't really had any opportunities, in my opinion, to really push in and get too much done. Especially since the enemy destroyer has been playing with such massive aggression throughout the match. Like constant aggression all the time. Questionable constant aggression, to be fair, like just too much of it. The Kitakaze is capping C. And these guys, you're giving them some good vision at this point. Sure what those torps are about? Hoping they would turn around, hoping. Could work. At this point, what I want to criticize is that, you know, there's a Shiratsuyu and a Jervis that is hunting your team up here. There is no real reason for you not to be scouting them. Because they have no support. Because their support is stuck here because of all the incoming fire. So they cannot support as much as they want. Whereas you got all these ships available to support. So, well, apparently the Shiratsuyu turned around. Pretty okay for you. Question is, will the Mayoko is turning guns for you? That's, you want to dodge Mayoko HE. It hits like a truck. You are turning away, that's good. You need to actively dodge those shells because they hit like a truck. The long reload, though, makes the Mayoko less versatile at punishing destroyers than, for example, a Helena, something similar. That's the Jervis. You got undetected, though. You can go. You should, at this point, you should just keep moving. Don't sit in the smoke. Probably Shiratsuyu smokes coming in. Shiratsuyu torps coming in there. And more importantly, you can go maybe spot that Jervis up north. He just shot you from here. I think that smoke was wasted. Maybe. Disengaging and playing safe isn't necessarily that bad of an idea with the North Carolina coming in behind either. Wow, is the NC sailing right into them? Nope, he's gonna dodge them barely. Keep in mind, there is sailing the way you. There is a risk here if the DD does play aggressive. Looks like the DD went for the sea cap though, so that's good for you. Bit risky. Bit risky. Is the NC gonna blap you? Think you got behind the island close enough? He is looking for it. He is absolutely looking for it. Wait, what? He shot the... Okay, he went for the Mogami instead. And you got the blessed double fire RNG. That is always nice. The Jervis is there right in front of you by the looks of it. The question is... Wait, did the Jervis go and die? Jervis went and died. Well, how did the Jervis die? He had no health. I don't even know what the Jervis went and died for. Questionable. Too much aggression from that Jervis. Punished him. Nelson is burning to death. Once again, a lot of aggression for no real reason on this flank. Because all these ships did was run away, and that's what the St. Louis wants to do. St. Louis wants to kite away and just farm. And now at this point, the remaining team, well, they're getting boxed in from here. And at this point, you can get a free cap at D. The score is somewhat close, but the points have flipped into your advantage. The only thing that you're against is really a Shiratsuyu. I wouldn't say this is like bad DD play. I think this is... You haven't really had too many opportunities to get that much damage in. There had been perhaps a bit more chances of getting better torpedo hits, but in terms of playing like just safe, not getting yourself killed, and just spotting enemy DDs, pretty damn good job. I would have liked to see this DD, when they were playing more aggressive with the DDs here, I would have liked to see you spot them. Because you had fleet support, they had no fleet support, and in those situations, spotting the enemy DDs is extremely punishing. I'm not sure why you always throw one torpedo volley out. Like getting a hit, even if your prediction is correct, getting a hit with just 4 torps is questionable. Just throw out both at once, and then you got them ready for the next volley. This one at a time stuff is questionable, especially because if they spot that first volley and then the second one comes delayed, well, they're already prepared for torps from that direction. So what you're basically doing is sending a signal, hey, I'm over here, and then a bit later you send another set of torps, hey, I'm over here now, and then a good player can see, oh, you're moving like this. Maxi King 2014, thank you for the sub, my dude. And North Carolina is in terrible position. He's crossfired by Gneisenau and the Colorado, so he's obviously going to be going down quite fast. That Mayoko seems to be doing a lot of work for that team. Wow, he must be a pretty good player. Looks like the rest of the team was kind of questionable though. But yeah, this game is looking pretty clear at this point. 3 caps to 1, 4 minutes 30 left. The North Carolina that in the crossfire is obviously going down pretty fast, and you got 2 cruisers behind you and you're actually spotting for them. So that Mayoko knows that his only chance of winning this match is defending this C objective, because both of his teammates, in a fit of complete idiocy, both of them decided to go A. Instead of just letting the North Carolina cap A and the DD is staying here to spot, the DD has actually surprisingly also gone up there with the North Carolina. No one knows where they got this fantastic idea, but so it is. Did you actually die in this match? Let me check that. Did you actually die in this match? No, you just never died. The issue, of course, is the Mayoko is a strong ship, but against Mogami and St. Louis, with spotting advantage, it's a rough. He's getting the Confederate. Wow, what a player! Truly a tragedy to see a player like that lose a match. Truly a tragedy, that's all I got to say. Dark Wolf 2083, thank you for the 2 months. But yeah, some preempting torps whiffed though. I guess he knew there was a DD coming into the camp and he tried to stop it with a desperation attempt. There is no chance. You might wonder, where is the DD that's supposed to be preventing this cap? Where's the DD? Maybe he went B? Maybe he's here to scout you? No, he's actually sailing around in A, because he is very, very special. And now the Mayoko is alone. 1 versus 3. And there's the Shiratsuya, still sitting in the camp. He's actually shooting from... He's shooting. He's sitting in the camp shooting. Wow. And at this point, well, briefly had... Whatever points that were gained are obviously going to be flipped now because there's only 2 minutes left. And these guys are fucked. There's really not much to see. As far as I understood, the points just tick out in 1 minute. Did anything else happen? Did you get any extra damage? Nope. This was the damage you ended on. Honestly, this was such a hard game. I can't even criticize much of this gameplay because I thought you just played smart and defensive. You knew the enemy had a DD playing in a division, and you just every time he was spotted, he got punished, and then he kept pushing up and being punished multiple times in a row until ultimately that flank collapsed. Kind of boring game. Kind of a boring game. Kind of a questionable game. I'm not sure why you picked that one game out of all of them though, because that was kind of fucking boring to watch. I thought I did so much wrong because it was so boring. No. It was just you were on the flank where the enemy was pushing hard with double DD. And you were a stock ship. So you can't really outgun them, so what you did was outspot them and they kept pushing in. So I don't think it was bad plan. Holding solo until fuck up. Not sure what that means, but sure, we can check this Hindenburg match. We can check this Hindenburg match. What do you think about the upcoming radar change? Well, I mean, it depends on what kind of delay they add. Right now, the issue, like, radar in itself was never an issue when there wasn't so much radar in the game. The problem is the radar saturation, because Wargaming started slapping radar on everything. It used to be a thing that only one ship had radar, and that was American cruisers. And then it got split off into light American cruisers, and then was of course the Soviet cruisers. Then they started slapping it on battleships like the Missouri, then they started slapping it on destroyers, and suddenly radar started being kinda everywhere. So the issue was not really ever that 1 or 2 radars is overpowered. The issue was that when the enemy has 4 or 5 radars, it's kind of awful to play against it. The gaming experience was kind of awful. So what the solution they have with the render delay, for those that aren't aware, they're experimenting with a method that where the guy who radars, he sees the ship being radared instantly, but the teammates only see him instantly on the minimap. There's a delay before the ship actually renders for them. The thing is though, how much of a delay there is will determine what I think about the change. If the delay is too long, then it will kill all concept of team play. Like if there's a 15-second delay from after you press the radar button and then the ship gets rendered, then it's obviously going to kill all team play, because the only time you actually want to be using radar is when you can get personal advantage out of it. But if there's a very short delay, it might be a pretty good change. Like, it will give a heads up to the DD, but the rest of the team will still be able to punish him. And it's going to be hard to balance that one. And honestly, until I know what kind of values we're talking about, it's really hard to have any sort of concrete opinion on it. Does it also offer opportunities to balance different nations? Like, they can use that to balance radars between nations. One nation has a shorter delay than the other and so forth. Like, there's a lot of potential gameplay options there. Remains to be seen what they're doing. Right, let's see. What do we have here? We have a Hindenburg player. Grozovoy pushing the cap. Double Hindenburg division. Not too bad of a threat on the enemy team. Pretty good matchmaking, in fact. A lot of 380mm guns on the enemy team, which of course you can bounce with that and Montana, which you can bounce with the 30mm armor. Pretty good matchmaking. No Republic, no Yamato, so Hindenburg should be fairly tanky in this match. The issue, of course, is going to be the HE spam. Potential torpedo. You are running Hydra though. No carrier either, so pretty fortunate consumable choice in this sense that there was no carrier to hinder it. A bit sketchy with going on the left side of... Okay, you're turning around. See, I don't really like going on this right side of this island. The issue is, if you're sailing like this, and you get spotted, let's say a DD has pushed aggressively up here, and you get spotted and you're sailing like this, you can't dodge to the left, because, well, there's an island there. So you're forced to either turn towards the enemy or keep sailing full broadside. Neither option is particularly enjoyable. At these ranges, on full HP BBs, I generally prefer HE. Okay, you're going for the Hindenburg actually, because he's grounded. Wow, replays really don't like the spotter camera. Holy shit, that's jerky. Look at that. That's like the port UI. That's how bad it is. God damn. Remember to switch to torpedo view every now and then. Like when you're taking shots like this. Is he accelerating? Is he not? Is he slowing down? What is he doing? Switch to the torpedo view and you get a real-time representation of what kind of maneuvers it's actually doing. So instead of just having to guess, you literally have a tool that will tell you. A lot of people seem to slack a lot with this, switching to torpedo view quite often to get that information. He's angled, or at this point you're just spending too much time shooting AP. He's literally completely angled and you're throwing AP at him. You're hoping for some Hail Mary penetrations at this point, instead of going for HE, which has 50mm of pen, so it will guarantee you consistently deal a lot of damage. This is a lot of useless AP you're sending out. Switch to HE. Also, I'm not sure why you're so gung-ho on trying to shoot a dodging cruiser at 20 kilometers when there's a Kurfürst right next to him that you can do full HE pens on all day long. You should be farming. You should be farming that. You haven't been playing CBs lately. Do I sense trouble in paradise? No, I just think clan battles are boring and I haven't been ours. I know online likes to try to make everything about drama, but I'm sorry to tell you, but clan battles are not very exciting. I've done them for a fair amount of seasons, and this latest season with Stalingrads and Woosters, sitting behind an island for 15 minutes is perhaps not the most thrilling World of Warships experience I have ever had. So no, I'm not very excited about this clan battle season. Gearing, broken engine. Once again, torpedo view. What is he doing? Is he sitting still? Was he accelerating? Some missed opportunities. At this point, there's no really... The enemy team is blobbing here. They're blobbing here. You can't really do too much about it. You could maybe go a bit closer and try to farm something, but because you got full HP and you can't really shoot anything from here. But in general, you might want to instead want to look at this flank. But what's happening on the left side? Well, we got the push of a Kronstadt and a Jean-Bart. Two ships that you can easily farm. And they're actually pushing up your Za, who's grounded and probably going to die. So at this point, you could reposition into your spawn and you could start farming them while kiting away and probably honestly kill both and be massively useful to your team. You don't really need to push this cap because, well, you have the cap and yeah, the cap is under your control, and if you push right now, well, you're pushing alone into a massive crossfire. So you're putting yourself into a very vulnerable position instead of playing a very flexible position and being more useful to your team. So I think positional issue here. You don't really... This is questionable. Very questionable. A very questionable push. You don't have Hydra either. Hydra is on cooldown. So I guess hope the gearing hasn't launched any preemptive torps at something behind you. Or even torps at you. And this Zao, of course, is dying. He's boxed in. The Jean-Baptiste will run him over, and then you're gonna have to deal with a crossfire from here. Actually, a Kurfürst is moving there to defend it. But once again, I'm not sure. I don't know why you're committing. Why are you committing to this cap? The enemy team hasn't shown any real signs of aggression. You got a Grossovoy and a Nakizuki here to keep the DD away. The DD has no health to begin with. So if the Zao tried to push in, well, you would have DD spotting. I can't say I'm too big of a fan of this position. Yes, your team is playing very, very pussy, but if their team is playing very, very pussy, you're not really benefiting much from pushing in like mad. Luckily, the enemy team, instead of punishing you, they're actually running away. Besides this Za who wants to give you all the broadside in the world. Okay, so the enemy team ran off. The issue is though, right now you're kind of, well, you're sitting in a cap that you already had. You might maybe be able to get farm some broadside, switch to AP on a broadside, Hindenburg behind him. Or maybe you can even get this kill if the Grosova keeps him spotted. That would be a nice, getting a nice Za kill here, because your team has died a fair bit. He damage cons the first fire. Wow, that's a mistake. Well, then you should absolutely try to secure that kill. No, finish him. Absolutely stay on that. Stay on that guy. He's blown his damage con. And he's a very easy kill. At this point I would be spamming call target on him as well. There we go, he's dead at that point. Triple fire. Blessed be the RNG gods. Mistake, Za was on low health. Yeah, so what, he was on low health. He was being perma-spotted by Krosova. He benefited nothing from blowing that damage con that early. Instead, he could have tried to get behind the island, and then just as he goes behind the island, he damage cons to conserve his health. One fire isn't gonna do that much. That Hindenburg, there's a Hindenburg closer that's giving you a lot of broadside. You might see him by accident now. There you go. Hello? Hey, there we go. Now you're like, hold up, what's this? Okay, more map awareness. I think you're tunnel visioning a bit too much on where your shells are landing. You're staring at... Basically, you're sitting zoomed in all the time. Too much time, in fact, just sitting there staring in. And this Scharnhorst and this Kronstadt in your spawn is actually starting to become a bit of an issue. Harugumo tried to fight them, he gets radar and he's getting punished. That flank that you could have stopped, well, it's causing a lot of issues. And in fact, because of that flank, they maybe even secure this B cap. Meanwhile, you've kind of been sitting in this cap that no one's even trying to get. Once again, you're farming damage though, and that's always good. A cruiser farming damage is never a bad thing. The issue is you're farming damage on ships that are already disengaging. You're farming damage on ships that are already kind of useless. Kind of unnecessary, like... If we took all this damage and dealt this to this flank, and these two would be dead, then you could have a flank capping A and maybe B, and you'd have crossfires, like... The damage being dealt is being deployed on the wrong parts of map. Expert loader to AP. I assume you have expert loader. At that point also, by the way, there was nothing stopping you charging forward. Because Hindenburg was turning like this and he was close enough, you could have charged forward and just blapped him as he gave you broadside. It would be so cool if you would do this a shit ton more. I mean, I do replay analysis every now and then. I can't do it all the time, because it's literally just me shit-talking my subs for 1.5 hours, so, you know, I do it too much and my subs are like, okay, who the fuck is this guy? Can he fuck off? Nah, in general, I know people appreciate it. I'm just kind of lazy when it comes to replay analysis. Nice, finally Kronstadt comes within range, and maybe finally you can get rid of this flank. But this Kronstadt and this Scharnhorst on this flank have caused so much havoc when it comes to your map control. At this point, well, your team is finally reacting to it and they're moving this way, but you've been down 2 caps for ages, and you're still sitting in a cap that no one is trying to get. That's what I want to highlight at this point. You're sitting in a cap that no one is really fighting for, besides you. The enemy team has been disengaging for the last 5 minutes, and, well, you've been dealing damage to them as they run away, but not really that definitive. Keep an eye out on the broadside. No, you're not. You're tunnel vision. Come on, buddy. Once again, you're tunnel visioning too much. You got 2 battleships, you got your broadside. Too much staring down the sights. Remember, if you hold down right click when you're zoomed in, if you hold down right click, your guns will stay locked onto that point, and you don't even need to zoom in to shoot. And at this point, well, you got lucky the Kurfürst didn't just outright delete you. At this point, I would stop shooting. Stop shooting and disengage. Luckily, the Hindenburgs don't decide to just kill you, because if that guy slowed down and these guys their division, if they play together, they can easily just farm you, since you're stuck in a really awkward position and the Bismarck isn't going to be able to do much. But it looks like they chose not to do anything. Switch to Harugumo, switch to Harugumo. Map awareness, support your DDs. There's a Harugumo in the open. Harugumo on the right in the open on the minimap. Yugrosovo is pinging him. He's asking, begging for help. There we go! Woo! Okay. Could have maybe gotten a few more volleys off with a faster reaction, but still supporting your DDs is important whenever you can. That was a hopeful volley. Okay, the Hindenburg is turning around. Do you see that? Pay attention to the minimap. One of the Hindenburgs just made a full turn. The other Hindenburg is also turning around. That thing I warned you about, those two guys suddenly deciding to farm you. Once they understand that they can, yeah, I think it's happening right now. You have overcommitted too deep, and that threat is becoming a reality. Even the Kurfürst decides, hey, this guy, he's way out of position. And this is where it starts. This is where it starts. And now you're in a kind of shit position to get out of here. You're really in a kind of shit position to get out of here because you're pushed so close that you can't really get undetected. And yeah, you're gonna get spammed. You need to pop your heal instantly. You can't save your heals at this point. Pop heal, you are under constant fire, there's no point saving the heal. That guy broadside, round. Do you think you can kill 32k health from a Grosse Kurfürst faster than two Hindenburgs can kill 20k health from you? See, I don't think you can. So I think at this point you should be shooting the two Hindenburgs in front of you. Now you pop your heal, once again, far too late. And, well, you're lucky they haven't been spamming you more with HE. Okay, they can't aim, that's fortunate. They don't. You saw that volley landing behind you? That was a guy who didn't use the torpedo indicator. What? Now you finally use the torpedo indicator and it's the torp nose in. Are you giving them full broadside? Oh Jesus. Oh no no no. No 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 no. Holy, well, rip your life. You should be shooting HE. If he's got a broken engine, it means he has no damage con. Oh, you maybe could have gotten that kill with HE. That is unfortunate. So from this one, map awareness, a lot more map awareness, positioning, recognizing where you should push and not. Like that flank that I called out very early, I said these two are going to be a problem, you can go stop it. They became a massive problem and you had huge issues with that. Overextension, I said early, I warned, if these guys decide they want to kill you, they can kill you. And that is exactly what happened. 2 versus 1 like this, especially in a position like this where you can't really disengage anywhere. And overall, I think you spent too much time shooting AP and too much time staring at where your shells are landing. More awareness of your surroundings. You got lucky the Kurfürst didn't get more than just 1 citadel when you pushed past. And remember, you got that one of the great strengths of the Hindenburg is that 50mm HE pen. So instead of like lobbing ineffective AP at cruisers, just farm the battleships. You can farm a ton of damage on the battleships. Like even the Kurfürst, that's considered a very tanky battleship, it's got 50mm deck armor. You can farm every part of that ship with HE. You do massive HE volleys to him. So once again, we see this AP from your cruiser buddy as well, and he should just be shooting HE. It's much more consistent. German AP is only good when you get flat, perfect broadsides, and usually at kind of like mid-range. Mid to short range. At these max ranges, just use the HE. It's there for a reason. It's super powerful. It's just very strong. Anyway, that was the Hindenburg game. Let's see what else we can cover. What did we cover? We covered DD. Wait, what the hell? What have we covered, chat? What have we covered? We covered a DD game, the Shiratsuyu. Did we only cover the Shiratsuyu? Cruiser, BB, Cruiser. We did Battleship, Cruiser, DD, cruiser. Okay, maybe a battleship game then. Maybe we can mix in a battleship game. Why is someone linking me some 160k Kaba game? What the hell? Are you memeing me? Let's see, here we have a battleship game. Here we have a battleship game. Top tier in a Missouri. Interesting. Abrahams, why are you linking me 160k Kaba game? Is that if your average in the Kaba is 160,000, I don't think I can don't think I can teach you much, because clearly you are better. You're better at the Kaba than I am. My average is not 160. That's amazing. Let's see. Are there any battleship replays? EU is back. Wow, someone links. Why do you link? What is this? What are these EP matches? Jesus. What part of average matches is confusing you? What part of average match is confusing you? 190,000 damage games. Hello? If that's your average, why are you asking for my help? You're better than I am. Hmm. 300 damage in Ognavoy is average enough. That does sound pretty goddamn average. Holy shit. Let's see. Let's see, what do we have? The Missouri game, maybe. Throw hard Wooster. The hell? Jesus. I don't think people understand the word average. Why are you linking? Who is that guy? Stiergnak. Why are you linking that Musashi game? If your average is 190k, once again, stop linking it. Like, Jesus. What part of average is confusing you guys? Average. Not wow, look at my E-penis. Or even worse than average is fine. Worse than average is also fine. That's the ones that you learn the most from. But the super matches, like, usually you get very lucky in them. If you don't have the best gameplay and you get huge damage numbers, then usually you get very lucky during the match, which is the worst kind of replay to show, because I will be teaching the worst kind of things to players who watch it and they go, I should do this. What, you know what? Let's just do this Henry game. I'm being linked to so many EPN matches right now. Holy shit. If your average is super Unicom, why are you asking me for help?
You're not known to be a humble man.
Robert.
But I wonder.
Robert.
I am actually humble.
Thank you for the sub. Let me go get a whiskey. There's a lot of potato. A lot of potato. I don't mean the gameplay. Back. No. Compared to chat, the potatoes, or compared to chat, the gameplay is amazing. This chat is potatoing hard with his links right now. Alright, what do we have? Tier 10 matchmaking, naturally, since we're in a Henry. Kurfürst, Scharnhorst, Musashi, Wooster, Hindenburg, Neptune, Chapav. Only 3 DDs, which is pretty nice. The less, and no carrier either. This gives a lot. The less DDs and the less carriers, the more flexibility you generally have with positioning in the Henry. Concealment 12.7, so you're running full concealment build. That means no rudder shift and no legendary module either. 19.1 range. That's range mod, isn't it? What's your reload? Can't look from here, but looks like range mod Henry. Okay. The Z52 is not pushing the cap. If the Z52 had pushed the cap, I would have liked you supporting it, but since he clearly does not want to, then you can just go support your lightning. Note that you kinda get spot. I would pop the speed boost and I would get out of this position fast, because if a DD pushes B right now, you kinda get spotted here. Your concealment extends all the way past. 19.1 is standard. Was it standard? Shit. Damn, that's a good range. I forgot it was that good. My bad, my bad. I was like, wait a minute. I've been playing it with legendary mode lately, and legendary adds, I think, was it a bit of range on it? You did get spotted, as I was afraid of. You're spotted from C actually. Are you gonna speed boost? Please speed boost. You're giving a lot of broadside to everyone. Speed boost, speed boost. AP, he's giving broadside. There we go. Yeah, that's a lot of wasted time on that reload boost. If you use the reload booster, shoot. Like, don't... Okay, first of all, that was horrendous consumable usage. And I mean it in the kindest way possible. If you pop the you only pop the reload booster when your guns are already pointed at the target and you're ready to pull the trigger. And then you pop the consumable and then you just hammer away and you just throw all your shells at the target. Popping it while you're turning your guns and you're aligning and you're lining up and all that stuff, that's awful. You missed out on, I would say, 60% of your consumable because you couldn't pull the trigger fast enough, because your turrets weren't keeping up. The turrets couldn't keep up with your turn. So you need to keep those things in mind. I don't think the Hindenburg is moving that way. Switch your torps to get an idea of what the Hindenburg is doing before you shoot. Did he accelerate into them now? Looked like he was reversing. He did accelerate into them now, but at this range, HE is better, especially if you're spec'd into IFHE, which is a pretty juicy build these days. Although, on a Hindenburg, probably wouldn't matter much if you weren't running it to begin with. But I got too excited? Yeah, I'm not sure which one it was, but that Zal giving broadside again, expert loader to AP. Pretty long reactions. Once again, you can start switching ammo before you zoom in like that, because it took you so long. Even you kind of negated your own expert loader bonus because you spent so much time waiting. In general, if you're unsure, just shoot instantly. It's better to secure, get the shots off straight away instead of trying to line it up and trying to get that perfect situation and all of that. The Henry especially is a damage farmer. That's kind of what you do in the Henry. That's your win condition. The Henry doesn't have a radar. It doesn't have tankiness. It doesn't really have much in terms of utility. It has exactly one thing going for it, and that's dealing a lot of damage. Dealing so much damage that you eventually start to impact the outcome of the match. Early game impact in the Henry is usually not too high, although you got some pretty good damage on the Zhao, who's been sailing broadside to your entire team like half the match. Just instant shooting, just like pull the trigger straight away. There's no point in wasting time. It will also make you faster and better at aiming if you try training that stuff. Sometimes you might whiff because you shot too early, but it will probably make you a better player in the long run. Musashi giving so much broadside, AP is not a bad choice. French AP penetration is of course excellent and very underrated. It's almost as good as Moskva's. Note that there's nothing preventing you from turning around, you're undetected. You can push in and support your lightning. Note that the cap is contested, which means the Cossack is there. So at this point I would like to see you turn around and push and support your lightning, because your lightning is about to spot the Cossack. And when that happens, having a Henry to support him would be nice, because the rest of your team is behind the island and quite useless. But that is basic map awareness things. And just predicting outcomes. Now you got your guns pointed the right way. That's what I want to see. Try to get as close as possible, because that Cossack is about to get spotted real soon. Baltimore, Moskva, honestly just a matter of time before radar or whatever spots them. Radar smoke run out? Okay, you're not actually paying it. I was hoping you were accidentally... Look! DD! Shoot! DD! Shh! Oh. Okay. Yeah, you're not paying attention at all. That's a bit of a shame. And that was a lot of potential damage you could have done to that destroyer. And if you see a cap is not moving, like you see your friendly DD is in a cap and you're actually not gaining any cap advantage, that means there is a enemy destroyer there. And those are exactly the situations where you kind of want to save your shot, you want to line it up, and then as soon as it... Look at the Cossack on your... Ouch. Okay, let's shoot, please. Oh, turn your guns. At this point, reload booster just to secure the kill would not have been a bad choice. Even if it's a wasted reload booster, if you're... Whoa. Hello, replay. Nice, you did use the replay booster. Reload booster. But even if you waste it, if it's in the purpose of trying to secure a DD kill, it's not really a waste. Because the trade-off is so good. Getting rid of DDs is such a game-winning move, because DDs are so important to the match outcome. So, never hesitate to use it if it comes to with the chance of securing a destroyer kill. You're spotted, it's a Shimakaze on your left right here. You don't really want to turn in because you know there's a Wooster here, there's a Scharnhorst that can come around the corner, there's the Wooster. Switch to AP. Okay, you can HE spam him, that's fine, but he's gonna turn left because there's an island in front of him. He's gonna give you that flat broadside. Nothing stopping you from slowing down to get more shots in. Nothing stopping you from shooting the Shima either. Now it's a bit late. I'm not sure about those torps either. Were you trying to torp your teammate? I'm not entirely sure about either of those choices. Well, you can't stop now anymore. I'm not sure why you're stopping now. Like, you're spotted and the Wooster is farming you. Hoping the lightning will spot him? Hoping he's not torped you? He did see you stop because you were spotted doing it. Your guns aren't pointing at the DD though. Like, I would love for you to see your guns pointed this way because your lightning is now pushing in, you see? Lightning has hydro, so lightning might give you vision soon. I would love for these guns to be pointed this way. Guns a bit more, please. Okay, there is the DD is spotted. He is behind the island though. Looks like he's reversing towards you though. Oh, you want to turn your guns for that. You want to turn your guns, your entire ship for that. Could start accelerating already. Or are you hunting for? I'm not exactly sure what you're hunting for. Scharnhorst pops up. But he's turning away, so he's not really a threat. Hydra ran out on the lightning right now. I think the Hydra ran out. That is pretty awkward. Secure the zone. The zone has 10k health. Pushing in, nose in. There we go. Light. More lead. Unfortunate. It was a good try. Once again, I will never criticize reload booster usage for trying to do DD damage. DD damage is so important in the long run. Could have taken a pot shot on the Cossack, he's grounding on the other side, but that's again map awareness. He's turning towards you, the Cossack even. No one else is shooting him, so if you could help support, yeah, you're ignoring the Cossack. Even if he's far away, getting the kill on the Cossack is more important than doing chip damage on a Wooster. Shima is coming around the island. Shima killed your lightning. Scharnhorst, does he have shots on you? Zoom in, where are his guns pointed? Well, probably against you. That's where I'd point my guns. Are you giving full broadside to the Scharnhorst? Once again, where are his guns pointed? Why are you not looking at his guns? You're tilting me by not looking where his guns are pointed. Oh man. Okay, the Scharnhorst is shooting HE at someone else. Wow. Okay, if a battleship comes around the corner like that, the first thing I do is zoom in and look at where are his guns pointed? Is he aiming at me? Am I the target? Stream dies. Yeah, Twitch dropped some frames, it looks like. That's fine, it happens. That guy's very much dead. Yep. You are giving full broadside to Kurfürst, luckily once again not pointing at you. I'd like to see like a bit more awareness on what battleships are looking at, what are potential threats, what could kill you. Just Twitch things? Yeah, Twitch is a bit questionable. Nothing stopping you dropping torps towards the Kurfürst since he's going straight at you. Your torps are what, 9 kilometers on this thing? He's turning away now. Jean Bart, where is he aiming? Can you afford to turn left? Can you afford to turn left, or is the Jean Bart gonna kill you? At this point I would look at it. Can you see where the Jean Bart is aiming? Once again, he's not aiming at you, so you could have at this point turned in and maybe even rushed the score for him. And just gotten rid of him. This is Yamato Musashi, sitting at spawn. Didi is luckily securing the cap. You don't know when the Kurfürst is gonna come around the corner, by the way. I hope at this point you're literally staring at the minimap. I hope you're literally staring at the minimap, because this guy is gonna come around the corner. And if he's smart, his guns are just aimed at you. He's spotting you. Will he delete you while you're mid-turn? No, his guns are pointed the other way. Yeah. A lot of risk factors. A lot of risk factors that I feel like being ignored here. If the stream is dark, literally just F5, that's Twitch doing some punky stuff. Sometimes Twitch has some issue and then it just kills the video and then you refresh and then it's back. Do we have IFHE? Maybe, you're doing a lot of damage. Then you should absolutely be focusing down the Scharnhorst. That's a Musashi, he's so far away. Finish the Kurfürst. He's used his heal. Is that IFHE? I'm not sure. We're getting a shatter every now and then, but that could be turrets as well. I think it's IFHE by the looks of it. No, that was... Oh, did you hit turrets 4 times? I have IFHE, you say. Okay. Well, very unfortunate volley then. HE is fine, no need to switch to AP. You honestly just need one fire. Keep shooting the Kurfürst. Oh no, that's not enough. You should have shot him one more time. That's not gonna be enough to burn him to death. Oh, that's unlucky. I would have liked to see you shoot the Kurfürst one more time. A good volley on his stern for like 3,000–4,000 damage might have been enough to secure the kill. Have you seen merchandise dump? Nope. What's going on in merchandise dump? Let me check it in just a bit. Careful with the Musashi. No, 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 you can't turn. You can't turn with 2 battleships aiming at... Are you dead? You get overpenned. Oh, that blessed French armor. It was actually enough to kill a Kurfürst. Wow, that must have been extremely close. I still think it was very sketchy to leave it up to chance. You can bait with your last heal, no need to pop it instantly. If you only have 1 heal left, there's no need to use it instantly. You can use the improved... reload, and honestly you can bait ships into going for very desperate plays on you. I mean, it's very safe play to use. It's not necessarily the end of the world to use it early. It's just very safe play. But you can usually play around with your last heal a bit more. Wooster, getting a lot of broadside. Careful, careful, careful with how much you're turning. You want to turn, you want to change course every now and then, just a bit. Going in a straight line makes you pretty easy to hit for the Yamato. The Yamato does overmatch you. Giving more broadside to him when he's shooting, that's a bad idea. Yep. Yeah, I would say some missed opportunities and a lot of risky play that didn't really need to be so risky. You kind of got away with, I think, a lot of questionable situations where more map awareness might have changed your opinion. And in general, if you see a battleship pops up on a minimap, or in front of you somewhere, you can see a battleship pop up around the corner. Try to make it a habit. You just quickly zoom in and you look where his guns are pointed. That's it. You don't need to spend much time. You just quickly take a look. And if it's something like a Musashi and his guns aren't pointed your way, well, you probably got like half a minute before his guns can even traverse your way. So you got a lot of freedom until he actually becomes a threat. You can play around it. It's information is always key in this game. The more information you have, the more you know about the enemy, the easier it is to play around it. But 2.5 million potential, I mean, you did a fairly good job this. Some missed opportunities to secure some DD kills, but that kind of happens. The enemy would have played better. Yeah, if the enemy would have punished you a bit better, it might have been different as well. Okay, let's see. What do we have here? Merchandise dump. What the... What the hell? Why have you bought so many? When did you buy all these rage socks? What in God's name? Look at this guy in merchandise dump, chat. Why did he buy? Why has he bought so many of my rage socks? What the hell? What the hell, my dude? That pillow is amazing, but what the hell, my dude? What the hell, my dude? Thanks. Those things you're pointing out are pretty obvious now when looking at it. Yeah, I mean, a lot of... It's easy to say a lot of the gameplay is obvious, but it might not be something that you actually pay attention to when you're playing yourself. So, yeah, pretty important. Important basic stuff. New Orleans. You know what people say about socks? Those are some expensive socks. Yeah, they were literally made expensive because they were meant as a meme. I didn't actually expect anyone to buy them. And then this meme lord has apparently bought, what, how many pairs? 1, 2, 3, 5 pairs of meme socks. What the hell? One for each day of the week. Yeah, almost. First wash, sticker melts away. Nah, I've been using my potato merchandise and it's been in the wash multiple times and it's still working fine. Alright, let's see. What links did we get, guys? What replay analysis did we get? We got a New Orleans game I might cover. We already had so many cruisers. Can we get some... What about this? Harugumo, 59k damage. Let's check that one out. I want to do a DD game again. $32k Wooster. Oh, we can check that one out as well. Can't imagine you pushing crappy merchandise. Well, I did recommend that no one buy it until I get to test it myself. Like the first set of stuff I put on the store, I ordered myself. And honestly, I've been showing it on my webcam all the time, so... Xiptotech, here 4GB, and yeah, but thank you both for the subs, my dudes. See, you care for us. Well, I don't actually. Whoa, shit! God, I fucking hate this parts on the my chair that actually move when you push upon them. I don't actually make much like profit from my merchandise. The only items I make profit from is like the sellout mug. So I don't make much profit, so there's not really much reason for me to sell the merchandise besides basically my fans being able to pick up some gear. So that's why I kind of wanted to make sure the gear wasn't garbage. Right. Where are we? Plan staying alive. That's a good start. What do we have here? Harugumo, of course. Clumsy. You're running gunboat build, 6.9 km concealment. Range is only 12, so no AFT. That's an interesting build. Do you not have a full captain? I think you don't have a full captain. Interesting. Questionable, perhaps. I don't know. What do you have then if you're not... That's the torp range. 17.5. Whoops. Oh, you're right. Holy crap, I forgot it's this absurd. Wait, 17.5. Is that with range mod? Wait, that's gonna be range mod as well. No, no. What? Oh god, no. You run reload and then you run AFT for the range. This is AFT plus range mod. Okay. This build to begin with is not something I would recommend. What the hell? Like, range mod running AFT already it's kind of useful when ships are sailing away from you. I can't imagine what you do with range mod AFT. Hilarious, meme worthy, but questionable. Also, pushing a cap against the Daring and an Asasha. You're stuck nose in. What the hell are you doing? You can be spotted right now, and what do you do then? Smoke? Okay, I hate your initial positioning. I hate your initial positioning. Don't be parked nose in. What exactly are you going to do when you get spotted? Are you in a division with a Moskva? No? So you're relying on a random guy to understand your radar if you get spotted? Holy crap, this... Okay, early positioning, very questionable. There you go, now you're spotted. Luckily you started turning. That could have been a lot sooner if they would have gotten here. If you can get here, then the DDs can get here even faster. So, very questionable early positioning. Wasn't a fan of it at all. You could have gotten punished a lot harder. You gotta remember Harugumo, unlike other destroyers, actually eats full penetration damage from battleships. So you can eat massive damage. So yeah, that was a questionable early deployment. Daring is caught full broadside. Surely he's gonna smoke, he's gonna something. There's his torps. Are you gonna get really lucky and it wasn't the narrow spread? We only launched 2 torps for some reason. Thank God, very fortunate. He was a potato and he didn't really shoot back. He didn't smoke either. Must have been perhaps the fear of the radar. Actually, it might have been just the radar that spotted him. But both your cruisers were... Okay, so he was a... What? Okay, well that was your support gone. That was your support gone. Mogami suiciding into the cap. That's good for you. Mogami giving broadside like that will die in about 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, no, he survived. Surprising. Maybe the next volley will delete him. Very questionable Mogami play though. This is very questionable gameplay from both sides going on, but it is a random battle, so I guess it's to be expected. You know they have a Seattle there, you know they have a Salem there, and you know they have the Daring. The Daring is obviously in the cap, probably around here, so you might be able to push around and ambush him, doing exactly what you're doing now. This is a bit risky though, but eh. It's a RPF, you just took the RPF from your Kronstadt. We know he's here. Oh, where are your guns pointed? Oh, you're not keeping your turrets on. You know he's here. What's his turret management? You know he's on your left side. Why are you locking your turrets on your right side? And now you ran into his Hydra. What the hell? Dude, what? What? No. Okay, if these guys weren't idiots, they'd be farming you right now. They're kind of farming you, but they should be farming you a lot harder. That was the most questionable of questionable fucking moves I've... Now he grounded as well. Oh my god, it's a potato fiesta. What is he even torping? Your grandmother? Oh lord, and here comes the battleship AP. And luckily his Hydra runs out. I don't... Okay. Everything about that move, I hate it. I hate everything about that move. Like, there... No... You... I don't even know. You risked your life to perhaps maybe potentially get the Daring killed. And luckily... the enemy team was retarded enough to not punish you. That's really what that move was built upon. Yeah, no, I don't like that. I don't like that at all. I like nothing about that. The daring gets away, and you gotta remember the daring has a heal, so if he's play smart, he's just gonna play super passive and get that heal running. Even smarter, he would just spot you. That's a torp target.
You're not known to be a humble man, but I wonder.
I think I am actually humble. I think I'm much more humble than you would understand.
You're expecting him to accelerate? I guess it's possible.
Looks like my
I thought he
DD
was just gonna
games
stop.
lol.
Or slow down. Thunderstorm, thank you for the 5 months. Maybe he'll go full speed around the corner suddenly. But your torps are pretty fast, and I don't think he'll be able to catch them. My plan was to spot the daring and my team to get into better position. The daring outspots you by a mile, and the daring has hydro. Why would you're not running concealment expert? Why would you want to push into that? Now you're pushing into his hydro again, and the hydro ran out. No, he popped. That's a hydro. I think that was a random radar from the Seattle, maybe. Could be either. But once again, you're trying to push into a cap that is covered by 2 different radars and a gunboat that is literally your hard counter. I'm not sure why you're so bullheaded about this. Have you looked at the minimap? Your team has C. Your team is securing B. The Montana is YOLOing in here. You could be sitting down here and just farming the Montana for free damage and helping your team like that. You're trying to bully yourself into a cap where everything that can be against you is against you. You got the proximity spotter? I don't know why he allows the proximity spot. Does he not know what proximity spotting is? I'm not sure why he allows that to happen. Was that your... I'm not even sure anymore. I think your teammate's secondaries just hit you and shattered. This is truly a replay with everything. Why is the daring the Harugumo hard counter? Because it's got massive damage, but it also has smoke, heal, sustain, and hydro against torps, and its own single target torps to launch. Like, daring has monstrous damage without having many of the weaknesses that the Harugumo has. I don't know, still don't know why you just didn't sail wide like this and just gun down the daring. You keep pushing into his hydro. For some reason he allows himself to get proximity spotted all the time. And for some reason these guys here aren't just killing you. I mean, he's asking for advice, and I gotta say that the Harugumo is a mid-range destroyer, especially if you go the gunboat build as you're going here. Murph 4321, and thank you for the 9. Like, now the Salem shut up. I was waiting for this. Like, he's been sitting there the entire time. You guys realize I'm dead soon? But I mean, you put yourself into this position. What? Does the Salem have radar? Yes. Is this guy gonna... He's pushing into your torps. Thank God he saved your damage at least at the very end. Okay, so your team has 2 caps. And... I don't know why you kept trying to bull yourself into that one island where the daring was holding. You put yourself into the one position where he has all the advantages. I don't know why. Like, you got a Des Moines pushing over now. You got all these other DDs that are showing up now. Like, you are not under any pressure to execute. You really think I can beat the daring? I mean... If you didn't think you can beat him, why are you trying to contest him? I'm not sure what happened. I think it was an obsession to secure the cap for your team, even though that cap really wasn't needed at all. Like, you didn't need the cap at all. There was no need to get that cap. Even your Kronstadt alone could probably deny that cap for ages just with the radar. So... Yeah, I would have, in general, if you get a matchmaking with multiple other DDs, try to support the other DDs. Especially if you're running some gunboat long range build. Trying to capture contest against the daring, you were pretty lucky that the daring was kind of potato as well. This could have ended a lot faster. Don't try to knife fight the daring. It will pretty much always end in your loss. Unless you can catch him without any smoke available and he can't torp you. In a straight DPM battle, yes, you can outtrade him. But in situations like this, around islands especially, he's got all the advantages. You're playing into his pocket. Anyway, that was the Harugumo. That was the Harugumo game. Catching a daring without a smoke. Yeah, I say that because catching a daring without a smoke is pretty much impossible because they got that fast reloading super powerful Royal Navy smokes which are pretty much on demand available. If the Salem had played it a bit smarter, I also agree he might have died a lot faster. Let's see, let's check this out. A guy was willing to send me a 32k damage Wooster game, so I'm gonna absolutely check that out. I can smell the foulness of those socks from here. Toxic socks. I can't believe he bought 5 pairs of them. What a meme lord. Maybe I should get those myself. If I'm ever at any wargaming event, by the way, you can bet your ass I'm gonna pack some Flamu merchandise with me. Like, who had radar? I need to wear that. And toxic. Alright, where were we? Wooster. Why not for TwitchCon? Yeah, I could wear it for TwitchCon as well. I am, for those not aware, my German fans did convince me, so I'm probably planning on going to Germany in April for TwitchCon EU, which could be pretty cool. Could meet a bunch of fans and stuff there, because my largest player base, or viewer base, is from Germany, so that could be pretty cool. Right. Wooster, what do we have? 2 DDs, Salem Hindenburg, Missouri Vanguard Tirpitz Amage, Yamato. Pretty, not the end of the world battleship lineup. You can farm 2 of them. You can completely farm, and that's Vanguard and Amagi. Both of them have 32mm armor, so those are easy farming targets for you to melt. Hindenburg, Salem, also Charles Martel Hipper, also Moskva is honestly the one that's most resilient against your damage. Other than that, pretty good lineups. Z52, Akizuki, both are surprisingly vulnerable to radar because they're both fairly large and clumsy. Akizuki more so than Z52, but Z52's strength is built upon pushing a cap and then popping smoke and hydro, and radar kind of hard counters it. You're running the concealment build, that is smart. You got premium consumables, fully pimped out. Build-wise, I assume you run IFHE, because not potato and so forth. So this might be pretty okay. You got a rain division on your team as well, so you got some good players on your team. The Z52 pushes up, he wants to do that whole Hydra thing, and he gets caught. You are targeted by someone. Is the Yamato shooting you? Are you dodging? Oh, you're stopping. Keep in mind the Yamato. The Yamato would love to wipe you right now. Are you aware of what the Yamato is aiming at? Because battleships don't always shoot DDs. Sometimes they just blap you instead. There's the Yamato shells, and that's our first chunk damage of the game. That's what I was afraid of. If you open up in the Wooster, every single DD on their team is gonna be pinging you. Oh, get rid of that piece of shit. And battleships tend to want to shoot you because you have no armor. There's the next volley, but you should get behind the island in time. Z52 Hydra, of course, spotting you. Keep in mind the Tirpitz was seen sailing this way. So if you keep going straight like this, well spotted, the Tirpitz will take the spot shot. There he is. Did he take the pot shot? He did not, luckily. He could have predictably fired, but luckily he held his shot. So you got an early advantage, your radar coming in strong, keeping that, nullifying the advantage of that Z-52 Hydro, and your Shima actually manages to survive, and you got a good advantage on this flank. You have no spotting, and 1 versus 1 hitting a Tirpitz is probably not recommended, especially since this potential crossfire from here is very nasty. I kind of don't like this, because you're showing broadside here and here. If you want to engage the Tirpitz, I'd sail past this island, start kiting away like this, and shoot backwards. Shooting the way you are right now, you're gonna get spotted in a second. 3, 2, there we go, you're spotted. Now you have to turn out while exposing broadside. Luckily you got undetected quickly after. Switch to HE, or is the Charles Martel going broadside? He's angling nose in, HE it is. Dodge the volley from the Tirpitz before focusing him. That's the downside of having no armor down. You can't disengage, he's too fast, you have to kill him. That's your only option. You put yourself into this mess, now you need to get yourself out, and the only way to get yourself out is to kill this guy. Tirpitz luckily is not pushing as hard as the Charles Martel is, and for some reason he's shooting AP, so you still got a chance. You gotta keep shooting though. You need to get yourself out of this mess. He's gonna keep chasing you, he's gonna keep shooting. There's a lot of potential damage you could have pumped out here before going down. You will finally get out. This entire move though. In essence, you were actually kind of lucky that was just the Charles Martel that came around the corner. There could have been a lot of other ships down there as well that you didn't know about. So this engage, I was worried about this engage because of this crossfire here. And more so of course that you didn't have the full information. And in general, considering you're playing a Wooster on this map, like, do you know what this ship likes? Islands. What does this map have? Islands. Everywhere islands. It's one of the few maps that offers a ton of cover. So considering you have access to all this cover, I do have to question the choice to go out here in the open and challenge a cruiser and a battleship in the open. Maybe not the best choice. Perhaps not the best of choices. Why not, for example, try to sit, once the Z-52 was dead, why not sit behind this island, try to farm the Yamato a bit, perhaps? Or kite back behind some island here and farm this Tirpitz when he pushes this flank. Like, this is kind of a low-tier cruiser thing, and that's our aggression. And we're seeing it in tier 10. You need to heal. There we go. Try to get back into the battle. Don't shoot yet. You'll get spotted. There's no reason. Getting into the position that I recommended earlier, you should be able to use it a fair bit here. You got a Roma scouting this flank. Should be able to get some damage now. This is a very Wooster friendly map though. Any map with a lot of island cover is friendly to these short range cruisers like the Moy and Wooster, so forth. So no map excuses.
Famous.
Eddie Wood, thank you very much. You pushed past the... Do you see this thing here? This is what offers you line of sight cover. You push the center of your ship past this thing here, so your vision detected like this. The only thing that matters is the center of your ship. Your nose can peek out as much as you want, your stern can peek out as much as you want. Vision is... you see, now you went back behind this thing and you're undetected. The only thing that matters when calculating vision is the center of the ship compared to the enemy's center of vision. So as soon as your center here went past this little bump, you got detected. So something you want to keep in mind when you're trying to hide behind islands, especially in a ship like the Wooster. In the Des Moines, should I take range or reload? Very dependent. Very dependent on playstyle and how you like to play and so forth. Both work. Both work. Personally, I prefer the flexibility range gives me when I get really shit maps like Okinawa and stuff like that. But it's not like reload will ever be a bad choice either, because you get a lot of concealment to play with. Salem is a threat. But the Yamato has gone away, and you got the Des Moines here, and you know it's a Rain player, so once again, this should be a good player supporting you for any upcoming fight with this Salem. The Tirpitz potentially walking into a crossfire, or potentially creating a crossfire. By entering the cap, I don't actually disagree with this. Entering the cap will allow your team to cap it before you can get spotted. Oh, what spotted you? Oh, the game already ended. Wow. Wow, it was one of these matches, huh? Enemy team completely collapsed. Some deployment things there though that I disagreed with. Some early map awareness issues. Basically, the Yamato volley early on, it was very predictable. You sail in the open in the Wooster, you're gonna get shot at by battleships. Combination of no armor and being a huge threat will cause that. And picking the fight in the open water when there's plenty of island cover, very questionable as well.